CountryWide Connect with Andy Thompson and Sarah Perriam-Lampp.
Corina Jordan waiting online. Hi, Corina. She is the Chief Executive of Fish and Game. Welcome to the show. Appreciate your time.
Oh, great to be here. Thanks, Andy.
Lovely to have you on the show, Corina. Thank you. First and foremost, we had your minister on the show earlier, James Meagher. Bit of an update at a higher level, but interested in your thoughts or what happened over the weekend. Did you get out for a shot?
I definitely did. I was lucky enough to go out for a hunt in Southland, and across the country it was beautiful, big blue skies. So I had a fantastic day. I was hunting on a river in a blind, and we managed to get our bag limits. Across the New Zealand, people were out hunting with friends and family, and everyone had a fantastic time. People were sending me photos of them just having a fantastic day. Some of them only got a few birds, and that was fine. Really, it was just about getting out and enjoying it. Obviously, with hunting, we prefer bad weather. So, bit of rain and a bit of wind to keep those birds flying low and moving around. But despite that, everyone had a great time. And I think people are actually looking forward to a bit of bad weather coming up probably this weekend. So we're expecting to see more hunters out then.
Yeah, that was our problem. It was too beautiful. It was too nice. It was blue skies. The birds were flying very high. Too high for me. As I said to you, you got my $116, and so far it's one duck. So it's a very expensive parry. But your advice, I agree with your advice. Go out again.
That's right, get out again. And if you think about it in relation to a meal, that's a lovely meal, isn't it? One parry, you could do something with that. Orange.
I definitely could do something with that. So we're in Southland. Whereabouts did you go?
Oh, we can't possibly say that.
Well, you can give me a region.
In Southland is that all hunting occurs in, what is it, the Longwoods or somewhere?
Yeah. I was in Balfour, and it's pretty well known where I go. But anyway, interesting with James. He mentioned that he went out with some of your rangers. He said it was a really good experience, and we were talking about how the angst has gone down quite a lot between Fish and Game, or federated farmers, even the farming community in general. Is that something that you're noticing?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we have a great relationship with federated farmers and the primary sector. I get along really well with the CEOs, and we catch up on a regular basis and occurrence. What we know is a lot of our hunters are farmers, whether you're large game hunting or you're game bird hunting, you're out there enjoying it with your family. So our values align. So we should naturally, just get along and get out there and enjoy our environment and our beautiful game bird species that we've got out there. So we're definitely seeing, great relationship across the country. We run compliance teams across the country, and so all of them were out. Obviously, opening weekend is a really big event. All of our compliance guys, they hunt, so they're giving up their opening weekend to help the sector and help our communities. And we had reports back of really high compliance across New Zealand, so that's really good to see. And everyone having a fantastic time. Lots of pictures of compliance officers checking licenses, and then the hunters sending the photos in to us. Everyone smiling and group shots.
Yeah, I've said to James, they didn't show up at our mai, but one day they will. One day they will. We're very prepared for them to show up, so that would be nice to see them. So it was good though. I guess my only other question in this, and I know the way that Fish and Game have had a very strong environmental bent, and with the tension ratcheting down, is Fish and Game taking their kind of foot off the environmental throat, or is it just a different way of doing things in the organisation?
I think probably it's just a different way of doing things across the organisation. So we're working really collaboratively and supporting, catchment community groups, for example, and the ground up change that we need to see, or initiatives that have been implemented through our farming community. So there's a lot of that community work that's going on. Fish and Game is still a strong freshwater advocate. We still participate in regional planning processes and in national processes in particular, but really it's just sort of about getting the settings right, reducing bureaucracy and working well together to achieve those outcomes that we all want. And what we also know is all of us want healthy fresh water, right, for various reasons, to be able to go and swim in it, take our kids into it, or enjoy it for duck hunting. So we're all sort of after the same things. I think possibly in the past we just got tangled in how to get there rather than what the outcome was. So we're just focused on the outcome and working with our communities to achieve it.
What about the numbers of hunters? Is it too early for you to go and have a look and see what the licence numbers were and that sort of thing? How's that looking?
We have around about 60,000 game bird licences sold each year. They hold pretty stable. It's probably too early to tell you what our whole season's going to be like at this stage. What we know is that a lot of people got out on opening weekend. It's a bit of a festival. It's a tradition, so everyone was out enjoying it, but we know that there's a lot of hunters also be looking for a bit of bad weather to get out there and maybe get those ducks flying a little bit lower, and they'll enjoy that. What we are seeing though is we're seeing more women getting into hunting and more families getting into it as well, and so that's awesome to see. What we also know is a lot of our landowners don't need to buy a license, so we suspect our numbers probably double what our license sales are because of those communities.
Yeah, that's exactly true. The owner, and that's why I never bought a license for many years, because I always just shoot on the farm until I started to travel down to Southland, of course, when that rule changed. But interesting, women, you said more women are getting into it, which is, so listeners might not know, there's actually complete woman mimais, isn't there? But also go out there and they have the weekend just the same as traditionally the blokes have.
That's right. I am getting a lot more pictures of some of my female friends and things like that, and then those female hunters that are getting into it, and they sort of reach out to me to let me know how they're doing, and they form little groups and they like going out by themselves rather than with all the blokes. So that's pretty cool to see. So they'll go out with their kids and they'll go out with little groups and they'll have a fantastic time, harvest a few birds.
Yeah, absolutely. It is fantastic. And so what about access then? I asked James about this, but from your view, obviously we haven't seen the I suppose that as coming back to the Yanks, there's not the the orange ribbon campaign, but nationwide. I mean, I know that was a Southland thing, but nationwide, how's access looking?
Yeah, access is always challenging, and I say that sort of on the national level. When we ask our hunters what the biggest challenge is for hunting, they say access, and they're still saying access. But that's really just ensuring that we've got wetlands to hunt, access to those wetlands, access through different areas, esplanade reserves and things like that, to reach our rivers or our wetlands. So that's a constant work on, I think, for the country and for Fish and Game, is to ensure that we're providing that access. But you'll know from our work, we buy wetlands, we restore wetlands, we work with farmers to restore wetlands. We try and encourage, farmers are great at letting communities, sort of access their farms, their friends and family and extended family onto properties. So we're sort of encouraging that as well. And we're running more sort of social events or organised events, so junior kid hunting opportunities, to provide those opportunities to communities that wouldn't otherwise have those opportunities in a sort of managed environment.
Hunting is a very much a community a community event. There are some people though that are very much against it, mainly on animal welfare grounds. What work do Fish and Game do with the opponents of hunting on those grounds, or how do you deal with that?
We've got an open doorway policy. So when anyone reaches out to us around any concerns or they want to have a conversation, then we engage with them. People have the right to protest and they have the right to their views. We try and address concerns with facts and data, and we try and treat everyone with empathy and respect. So really it's about having a respectful conversation as much as we possibly can and try and get the facts out there in relation to game bird hunting, obviously being super good for your mental and physical well-being, so human well-being, connection with friends and family, the ability to harvest beautiful free-range food for the table. It's a wild animal, and then it's essentially on the ground and then on the plate, and that's a really great story. And also what we do is we've got a knowledge hub. We're really proud of our knowledge hub that we've just launched. So you pop onto our website and have a look at that, and it has information around ethical hunting. It has information around training your dog, about setting your mai up, and so just ensuring that people are as successful as possible when they're out there hunting.
Yeah, I think there is a disconnect with some people, and they don't understand that these game birds are actually a pest, and it is a actual control. People don't like the word culling, but that's effectively what it is, right? We've got to control the numbers, otherwise they're just out of control.
That's right. Well, I mean, what I was saying that is, they're a valued introduced species, but we do need to manage them. So we need to manage them for their values, so they provide, those benefits to our communities and to individuals, but also for their impacts. We know that, when we have high numbers, they have nuisance impacts on productive farming properties in particular, and that needs to be managed. And if we're not hunting them, then other management tools are used, which are far, I would say, less humane than out there hunting them.
Exactly. And I know, from what I've seen in my experience, all hunters will do what they can to make sure that the hunting is humane very quickly. very quickly. They will be doing
right.
that. Yep.
It's a point of pride.
It is. It is. Nothing can be allowed to suffer in any way, shape, or form. Are you still CEO Animal Game Council?
I am.
You are. You've still got your two hats on. Yeah.
It's keeping me very busy.
I can imagine it's keeping you very busy. That is two very significant hats, Corina, and I think you're doing a pretty good job. Did you get out for the Raw? Have you got yourself a stag?
I haven't yet. I've run around in our forests chasing them, but I haven't managed to bag myself a stag yet. Yeah, so I've been bringing home meat for the freezer.
Yeah.
But I haven't managed to find myself a trophy. But we'll get out again. I think the fallow down here are still going. They're probably coming slightly off at the moment, but I'm out next weekend chasing some fallow around to see if I can be a bit more successful. I think a little bit limited time. So next year I'll be planning a bit more of a break so I can actually take a week and get out there. At the moment I've just been trying to grab weekends.
Yeah, deer numbers though are exploding nationwide. From anecdotally, from what I'm hearing is, are you keeping records on that? The Animal Game Council, what are you seeing?
We're seeing that animal numbers are patchy across the country. And so what I mean by that is definitely in some areas we've got really high deer populations. What we say is that there's not a deer issue, there's a deer management issue. So we completely buy into that. And we're working with MPI and the primary sector to address some of those areas where we've got really high deer numbers. Where I've been out over the last few days, so last couple of weeks, people might say I'm not the best hunter, but I've been out chasing stags and I haven't found very much sign. So I think they are. And I'm hearing that back from different hunters as well. There's not in some places, and then there are high numbers in other places, and there are high numbers sort of on the forestry productive land boundaries. Yeah,
my son went out the other day and he nabbed 4, and there was certainly plenty around. And I know down in Southland, I think there's pretty big numbers. So I don't know what the rest of the country is like, but from what I'm hearing, there is some pretty big numbers, and also down into Southwestland as well. So. I guess some of the same issues from Fish and Game when it comes to Animal Game Council. Access is quite a big issue. Is that being managed?
So it's the same as with Fish and Game. So generally when I'm representing the communities, it's why I can sort of wear 2 hats, right, or wear the hats. The values are aligned, and often a lot of the issues are the same as well. So with our hunting communities, access is still an issue. Where we know that we've got really good access for our recreational hunters in particular, we're able to manage those game animals down to more sustainable levels. Where we start to have challenges in relation to access, then that makes management much more tricky. So we are working with our recreational hunters to say, if you're out there hunting, take a couple of hinds as well for the freezer,
yeah,
do it for game animal management. Even if I know hunters don't like leaving animals on the hills, but we're getting to the point where we've got those higher numbers, we'll leave those animals on the hills and do our bit for game animal management. And so I think that's definitely something that we could be working across the country to improve is access both for game bird hunters and for large game hunters to help manage these populations.
We're also seeing big numbers of international hunters coming in, aren't we? That's a very big industry in New Zealand now.
Yeah, well, hunting is really important for our economy. So there's some numbers off the top of my head. I think we've got some research that we're going to release, but I might do a wee snippet.
Go on.
About 450 million to the economy for hunting, and in relation to our guided sector, it's about 280 million. So it's massively significant, and I think there's opportunities to grow that as well, to contribute to the economic well-being of the country. And we've got a beautiful country for hunting. It's an iconic hunting destination, beautiful landscape and amazing game animals and sports fish as well, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah, we didn't even talk about fishing. I'm not a fisherman, although I have actually caught one trout once, but maybe I know it's something my wife wants to get into, actually, so maybe
I should convert her, send her out with me.
Yeah, actually, we should definitely do that. Yeah, let's do that. We'll get out there. Do you get over to the coast very often, come and fish some of our rivers?
I do. I try and fish as many rivers as I possibly can. Love it.
All right. Well, let's make that happen. Hey, Corina, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I know need to make this more than just an annual interview on opening weekend, because there's certainly a lot in it, and you're doing a fantastic job. And genuinely, I'm very pleased to see the lack of angst now between Fish and Game and farmers as such. Nice to see that rhetoric toned down to the extent now when I was Southland, because I bought my licence online, I said, where do I send my money to? And they said, send it to Southland, because you do get that choice, right? And so I think that's a little anecdotal thing for you to show the difference in even just 12 months.
it's a great turnaround, and what I'm hearing from Southland is licence sales are right back up again, and they're getting along well with their communities. So that's really good to see.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Corina. We'll talk to you again. Corina Jordan there. She is the CEO of Fish and Game and also the Animal Game Council. So a lot on her plate, but is a great advocate for the hunting sector in New Zealand and doing a great job.
CountryWide Connect with Andy Thompson and Sarah Perriam-Lampp.